Utie oha echi ponkno. Needs FM.
Institutions and the way we've handled it. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me just state that there are two approaches. We are talking about approach. The big bang approach or the gradualist approach. You can say there's a problem. Let's bring the house down, even if it can be fixed over a period of time. Or you can say, let's be careful because depositors are at stake, employees are at stake, right? Jobs, in other words, jobs are at stake. Children's school fees by parents who are going to lose their jobs and other things are at stake. If you choose a gradualist approach, you're only being pragmatic. It doesn't mean that you choose the wrong choice, no. And so I'm saying this because, one, we chose the gradualist approach, and as I said earlier in the program, the first ESLA flows that came in were just 300 million, not 28 billion, as I'm projecting now, 20 billion. With the 300 million, we injected 250 million cash into 11 banks and took off VRA's debt of 2.2 billion, right? And we said we'll pay it over a period of 5 years as, ESLA revenues come in. And this is where ESLA is very important. And we did that. And the loans that were non-performing, which led to the big bank collapse, right, were restored. Those 2.2 were restored. Why? Because there's a credible source of money that's coming in that will be used, to pay the depositors. Then we had a term sheet for $600 million to do a second one and a third and a fourth as the ESLA money comes in. That was before we left office. So it's not true that we didn't do anything about it. We did the audit. Now, why are you doing this? Remember that global financial crisis that we came to inherit happened in the US. And when they attempted to shut down their banks, Lehman Brothers, and the other bank, what happened? The whole of the US started to melt down, just as the banking sector melted down before it started. And so they stopped. And they dealt with the malfeasance separately, because you are talking about a bank that is providing employment. You are talking about a bank that is doing so many things. And so you have to look at the ramifications of all of this. We did that without loss of jobs and others. Yeah, would the corporates have been, punished or not? That was in the audit report, that there were malfeasance and others which you could, come up to, later, right? But the corporate entity, which is the bank, is a corporate entity, the bank. You want to save that first in the interest of depositors and the rest. And it's not true that we give the money. If VRA is owing on account of doing so and providing power, right? And we take ESLA money and we pay it to the bank so that the depositors' money that was given to VRA could be paid. How does this amount to giving money to the owner? Yeah, how does this amount to giving money to the owner? Right? So I'm saying that we had just a gradualist and pragmatic approach to making sure. And let me quote, a little math here, arithmetic. About 9, 10 banks, went down. Their capital requirements was 400, million each. Even if I double it, 800 million to restore times 10, 8 billion. Today, with a big bang approach, we are 21, billion and counting. And counting.
Whether the gradualist approach or the big bang approach, you talk about the approach. But do you agree the need to sanitize the sector?
That's what I said. We started sanitizing the sector. We injected cash, and we took, that's a bad bank. That's the National Non-Performing Assets Recovery Trust approach that was adopted in the 19th. It isn't that we didn't have any experience. We had some experience.
So you started it off already?
Of course. But that's why we did ESLA. Go and read ESLA. That's the main reason for ESLA. The main reason for ESLA, the energy sector debt that we are talking about, which gave it its name, is actually energy sector debt that is owed to the banks. Local and foreign banks.
Correlation there.
There is a correlation to the banks. And in the 2017 report, I don't have it here, it was mentioned clearly.
And then the current today, narrative, as if you haven't done anything.
Not today, yes. But today, it's just that it's not being acknowledged as usual. The money that is being used for the banking sector course is ESLA. That's the ESLA bond that is being issued, yes. Which is to be paid with the ESLA, that's the nuisance tax.
And are you satisfied with the repayment mechanism as espoused by the receiver?
Well, you just have to look at, you are coming now, you're asking a question which relates to the pros and cons of bringing down the household, right? Bringing down the house or gradually fixing it. And I'm saying when that happened, yes, malfeasance would have been dealt with, which people say is not, it would have been dealt with, but just were not lost. Of course, there would have been some retrenchment because you had to downsize for some of them and everything, but not as severe.
And so would you have prosecuted persons as it's been done now?
I'm saying it is in the audit report. It's in the audit report. And Mahama is a government which has prosecuted as many people as, people.
So you wouldn't shy away from prosecution?
That's for the Attorney General. And that would have happened. I'm saying it's in the report. Remember that the ESLA was done going to 2016. The first flow started coming in. The asset quality review report was done just around that era. And we lost, power.
So in effect, you wouldn't accept the suggestion that you presided over the route and failed to do anything?
There was some, I'm not here to deny that there wasn't any rot that was taking place at all. No. But I'm saying that's one thing. Exaggerating it is another thing.
There was some sort of rot, but not so much the level we have been told.
Well, yes. I would say that even if it was a level, I'm saying that the approach, what is the approach to solving it? And I'm saying, one, the approach was ESLA, which is still being used, right? Which was a nuisance that should have gone away. Two, there are two options for dealing with this globally. Either the gradualist approach or you do the big bang approach. And therefore, if you do the big bang approach and you have loss of jobs, and you should have foreseen that these are the consequences of it. Own up and say, yes, this is the outcome of the approach.
Okay,
don't blame it on some mess.
Let's see the patriotism in you, Seth Terkper. Yes, you started it off bringing about ESLA, and by the time you were out of government, January 2017, the issue of the approach was dealt with, and the present government chose not to go by the gradualist approach, but went by the big bang. What do you want the government to do now about this issue of the financial sector sanitization?
No, focus on resolving the problems which it has created.
How do they resolve it?
Of course. I mean, we had another approach. They had their approach. So if things
now you are stepping in to direct them what they should be doing.
No,
now.
It's not my duty to direct the government.
Even when you have the expertise.
Because I don't have all the facts. What is coming out in trickles is what we know. No, of course. I've written on it. And I've defended the approach. I've written. So when I write on something...
But what would I thought, instead of criticizing, put forward practical solutions to the problems?
Oh, we gave a solution.
What solution would you want to put forward?
We are saying use the ESLA money which we put in, don't divert it for other uses. Use, to
You've just said that the ESLA money is being used to defray some of the costs. So they are doing what you are saying they should be doing.
No, but I'm saying that giving the inflow from ESLA, right, dedicate it to the problem because the amount, of course, yes, because that's the purpose. And if you have used it for other purposes, that's the public.
So can we redeem ourselves given where we are now?
Yeah, President, we have said it over and over that what you have to do is to just repackage ESLA, bring it back to its purpose, and use it to pay. After all, the bonds that are being given, the government bonds that are being given to people, without interest for whether the payment is going to come from Esla.
So you will not
So
support
why so sorry, the point I'm making, why don't you use the money to pay? If there are other areas of expenditure, burdens, and also concede to the fact that in the 2017 budget, you didn't focus on the bailout because there was no provision in the budget. Even though the revenue for Esla was shown, there was no provision in the budget. And even in the 2020 budget, I'm saying that if you go to the 2020 budget when it was ready in December, there was no provision to pay for Esla. So if you're asking me what should be done, transparency. And at least it's good that some of these things are being shown now.
So you not support the suggestion that certain personalities have been targeted. No. Down.
Not at all. What I'm saying. Sorry, we are talking about two things here. What I'm saying is that some of those things are in court. So I wouldn't want to.
You are advised.
I wouldn't want to. Yeah, definitely not. Yes.
Right. Okay, Lord Insiasare.
Utie Oha Exi Punk no Needs FM.